In 1940, 2,000 trains arrived every week to Nazi concentration camps. Men, women, children. Many still believed that they would be relocated carriers with them. Family photographs, jewelry, clothing including. Some of them wrote their names. About this, they thought that after the trip would recover their belongings. They did not know that many of them have never would see them again. But when getting off the train, everything will be taken away from them. Every belonging was classified. Nothing should be wasted because for the regime, Nazi victims were not seen as human beings, were converted into resources. In places like Auschwitz, huge warehouses received the stolen belongings. The prisoners called to these buildings Canada, because for them Canada symbolized wealth and abundance. Inside these deposits were mountains, endless shoes, glasses, watches, brushes, children's clothing, objects that belonged to people who, in many cases, they had already been killed hours earlier. The Nazis were reviewing. Absolutely all the money was separated immediately. Foreign currencies, banknotes, the jewels, everything was sent to the hidden state or senior regime officials. But the looting did not end there. Many victims were forced to hand over rings and chains before entering the gas chambers, and after death the bodies were still being used. Prisoners forced to work in crematoria, known as the Sonderkommando, were forced to check the angels. The gold teeth were pulled out with special tools. The dental gold was melted down and stored by the SS. Even human hair. Tons of hair were collected, were found at the end of the war. That hair was used for manufacture recycled industrial fabrics and even materials for submarines. Nothing should be lost. The glasses were classified. Shoes were shipped to Germany to reuse leather. Clothes were washed and redistributed among German soldiers or civilians. S were carefully opened. Many had names written by their owners, people who thought that someday would get their things back, but they never returned. In some camps, the prisoners were forced to order belongings of people who had just died. Imagine that. It was unbearable to separate toys from wild children, fold clothes covered with ash, find family photographs among mountains of stolen objects, all while the smoke from the crematoria covered the sky. Have over time the warehouses began to fill up to levels impossible to imagine. Whole rows of atrocities, Mayan children's shoes, stacked toothbrushes. In boxes, mountains of lenses in bags, full of human hair, was the silent evidence of millions of missing persons. Some Nazi soldiers even stole part of the belongings for themselves. Ring watches, have money hidden among the clothing. Corruption even existed inside that death cell. But the SS were trying to control every object of value because possession also generated profits while millions died. The Nazi regime obtained gold money and resources. Stolen goods were sent to factories, military warehouse offices, and many German families came to wear clothes or belongings without knowing its true origin. The system was designed like a needle, death industrialist, but also of mass looting by the Nazis. They were not only looking to show off people, were also looking for benefit financially from each victim. And while millions disappeared, their belongings ended up being distributed throughout Europe when the fields were liberated. In 1945, the Allied soldiers were horrified, found entire rooms filled with shoes, mountains of human hair, thousands of with names still visible, silent tests of millions of lives destroyed. Many soldiers later said that this was one of the hardest scenes to forget, because every object told a story, every belonged to someone, every boy to a child, real or not, were simple. Abandoned objects were the footprints of people who had disappeared. Today, many of these objects are still preserved in museums and memorials of the not as mere historical pieces, but as evidence of how far dehumanization can go. Because behind every shoe, of every watch, of each, there was a real person, a life, a family, a story that should never have ended like this. And as long as they exist, these stories, the world should not forget what happened. Because the shadows of history do not disappear on days and scars through generations. And in the next chapter of Shadows of History, we will continue exploring the darkest episodes that marked forever to humanity.